Hello trader, welcome back to this new weekly market outlook video where we prepare as usual the upcoming week. So let's begin with the economic calendar to see what important news we have. So on Monday, nothing special. Wednesday we have the CPI, very interesting, year over year, month over month on the core CPI. On Thursday, the usual unemployment claims on the US dollar. Some interesting data. It's not a red folder, but I think it's interesting. This could potentially give you an insight of the growth in the United States. I'm talking about the trade balance, housing starts, and the building permits. So you can also keep an eye on this one. The GDP, the growth data on the pound, United Kingdom, interesting, on Friday in the morning to keep an eye on this, and also all days data, which could give you some insight in the growth in United Kingdom. And also we have at the end of Friday, we have jobs data on Canadian dollar, interesting. Also have core PCE. We also have the core PCE price on US dollar, and then some jobs opening also on US dollar. So that's pretty much the important news to keep an eye on that. Let's start with the DXY. So we had interesting data, I think, last week. 92,000 jobs lost. You see, on Friday, this is very huge loss on jobs data, which is supposedly be which could normally bring the US dollar down because it's a bad number and it's not good for economy. But we will see on the DXY, this news didn't affect the DXY, at least at the moment on Friday. But we could explain it by the fact that we still have the conflict in the Middle East. So US dollar is still a safe haven, is acting right now as a safe haven. So that's why we still continue. We still see this trend on the US dollar. So let's see. Maybe we will see some weakness on the next week due to the the bad number on jobs data, but we will see. So on weekly, we are still in range between, as you can see, the support I mentioned it from the beginning of the year is powerful support and resistance. Let's go to the daily. On daily time frame, we had a new order flow daily forming from the demand, the monthly demand, which is this zone. We had the last order flow daily from this low to this high. We have a daily order flow bullish. So as long as we are not closing below this daily, I think the dollar can continue to the upside, at least tap this resistance right there. So that's what I'm thinking in long term. But as if we break this low, I think we could definitely be bearish. But this is based on the macroeconomy. This is not the case right now because of the safe haven character of the US dollar. So I think for the upcoming week, we could potentially see maybe a relax of the on the US dollar, a retracement around this imbalance, overlapping with this yearly open, and maybe a rebound to continue the order flow daily to the upside. That's what I see in the GXY. So 4 hour, same thing. We have the 4 hour order flow bullish from this low to this high, maybe with a retracement around the discount zone before going higher. So same thing. I'm expecting maybe some weakness. See how we didn't close above this high. Let me show you. Let's go back to the daily. You see, we didn't close, but we didn't close properly above this high. So that means we have some weakness. We finished with some weakness on the DXY last week because maybe due to the weak number on jobs data, NFP data. I'm expecting some retracement at the beginning of the week around the discount zone before starting to see a pump up again. So that's pretty much what I'm looking on the DXY. The next one is the EURUSD. So EURUSD, we are still in this supply zone slash order block, which is rejecting the price. You can see some wicks right there. We are in premium. When I say premium of this last movement, you see price retrace in extreme premium. So what do we do in premium? We expect some sell-off in premium. So that's why I want to see a continuation of the Euro USD to the downside. Plus the fact that we are still at the top of the channel, you see. So I still think Euro USD is overbought. So that's why I'm expecting at least a retracement around this 50% mark of the channel. On weekly time frame, you can see we are still bullish from this low to this high. You can see this is my order flow weekly, which is bullish, but because we are in the top of the channel and USD is overbought, I still think USD is overbought. So I think we, for the upcoming week, we could potentially on sell side target this low, or maybe this support right there. But on buy side, we could potentially retrace around this level or this level. If we observe some weakness on USD dollar, we could see something like this before continue lower. On daily time frame, with the daily order flow, the last daily order flow already switched bearish. We can see this is my last daily order flow from this high to this low. We are already bearish. So I'm expecting some retracement. You can see from the last daily order flow, maybe at least around this yearly open before continue lower. This is what I expect on daily time frame, but we can see we have some imbalance here, so price could possibly retest this imbalance before continue lower. On 4 time frame we are bearish. On 4 time frame we are bearish also, so we have the daily order flow bearish, we have the 4-hour order flow bearish from this high to this low. So I'm expecting a retrace. This is the same thing as a daily order flow. I'm expecting a retrace of this last 4-hour order flow bearish, maybe at least around this point of control from the last here, and find a short to target this low on this demand zone right there. If this is if we observe some weakness on the US dollar, if the US dollar keep going strong, so we could possibly see a break directly of this low to this level before starting to go high again. But in any case, for this week, my best scenario will be some retracement around this level or even further in premium zone before starting to sell again. So I'm still bearish on Euro USD, so that's my plan. On weekly time frame, see how we reject this level. Last week we pretty much tapped this support zone. We also have this trend line which is holding price. We tap 3 times, so maybe expecting for this week a little rise of the pound dollar to the upside. We will see. Also we have the last order flow weekly, which is from this low to this high. We already retraced in discount zone, which could be a perfect zone to start to buy pound USD. But I'm very cautious on this one because the pound is weak. Hopefully we had some data, economic data this week. I think let me show you. Let me check. We have some growth data on, yes, on Friday. Yeah, maybe we could potentially see some insight in the United Kingdom growth to start to buy the pound dollar. But yeah, what I see here is some retracement of the last weekly order flow. We retrace. We are in discount zone, so in discount zone it's not a good idea to continue to sell this market. But let's go down to the daily. On daily we still have price distributing around this channel. We tap this demand zone. We can see we tap and react from this demand zone. So the last daily order flow is from this high to this low. So if I measure my last daily order flow, which is bearish, I could potentially see a retracement toward the premium zone for this week, for example, and then in next week we could potentially see a continuation of the downtrend. But yeah, for me, buying the pound right now is very complicated because we have some demand here. We are in discount, and we also have this trend line which is right now supporting the price. So I need to see some break of this level to be able to sell again. If not, Maybe let's go to the 4 hour. We can clearly see the 4 hour is bearish from this high to this low. Maybe a retracement around the yearly open in a certain premium zone before starting to sell again toward these supports. That's what I am looking right now. But for this scenario, I want to see a strong dollar to be able to sell the pound. But if we still have a weak dollar, we can potentially see a rise. If we keep seeing a weak dollar, we can potentially target these highs. There is a possibility. So all the scenario will depend on the DXY. The next one is Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, we know that Aussie is fundamentally bullish. So we keep continue the bullish trend. So my target for the month, I still believe we are going to target these highs because you see we broke out of this descending channel. I still think we are going to target this high, but we have not touched it yet. So let's go down to the weekly. What do we have in weekly? We have order flow weekly from this low to this high. This is my last order flow weekly. There is a possibility that we could retrace this last order flow weekly at least toward the 38.2% of Fibonacci, but I'm not sure right now because I still think we have some strain on Aussie due to the projection of the RBA, the Central Bank of Australia, want to hike rates. So let's see to the daily time frame. Yeah, daily time frame price is not really clear. We can see some range. On 4 hour, we have some demand which is holding price right now. We already test one time these demands. We have some sort of order flow bearish. To be honest, I'm gonna stay away of this pair because the Aussie is fundamentally strong and the USD is acting as right now is acting as a safe haven, which brings some strength on US dollar. That's why we can see some of range of this pair. And in period of conflict on geopolitical conflict, it's not a very good idea to trade risks on asset like Aussie dollar. So, but if I have to give a direction, I want to see some sort of rejection of this low and then find another entry to target finally this high. The next one is Kiwi dollar. So Kiwi dollar, we have this monthly demand I mentioned from the beginning, which is holding price. We can see we already retest many times this demand zone. So if I zoom, the monthly candle is bearish right now. We are already test this support. We have some rejection from this support. So on daily time frame, on Kiwi dollar, we have this last order flow daily from this low to this high. It seems like we are retracing around the discount zone. Look how price stop right there in this imbalance. So I will not be surprised if price continue to range right there before continue higher. This is a possibility. So another possibility is, let's go down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, this is my order flow. Last order flow from this high to this low. We have already retraced, if I don't mistake, around around the premium zone above the 50%, you see. So if we keep seeing some strain on US dollar, we could potentially break this low, and if we close below this low, there is a possibility we target the the point of control. But as this pair is as the Aussie dollar, I don't have a specific bias right now on this one because it's also a risk on currencies, a risk on pairs. So we have the Kiwi and the USD dollar in period of geopolitical tension is very risky, especially when we don't have some kind of direction. At least for me, I don't see any direction right now. So I want to see some break of the low to keep showing me we have a continuation or a break from maybe this high above the monthly open before starting to buy again. That's pretty much what I see right now. Price is price is stuck between this level. I could say is we are ranging right now. So I don't have a direction right now on Kiwi dollar. On USD yen, so I still think USD yen in weekly time frame we are ranging. Yeah, we are ranging from this high to this low. Price is stuck between these levels, you can see. But in daily time frame, if we zoom in, we can see we still have this daily order flow bearish. We see we broke this structure to the downside. Currently, we are retracing. We already retraced one time, but we didn't broke this low. So we retrace again around this supply zone, which is a very good zone to find a setup to the sell side. We can see we still have this order block I mentioned from the beginning, which is acting as a nice resistance. And if you will remember, I think it is at this moment where the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, intervened on the yen, and we see a huge sell-off. So I will not be surprised if we. This is why I'm very cautious on buying USD yen, because it is where in this region we have the intervention of the Bank of Japan. So I still think we could potentially sell the US yen, but with the strength of US dollar, and US dollar is acting as a safe haven, uh, I'm not ready to sell it. Maybe with a break of this low before starting to sell again this pair. If we finally break this order block, you see right there, and maybe we close above this final this order block. If we close above this order block, we could potentially see price target finally this high, maybe this level of resistance. So I'm very cautious on USD yen. Yes, we have this order flow bullish. We have the US dollar, which is acting as a safe haven. So it's strong US dollar right now. But remember, we had bad numbers on NFP jobs data, which could bring some weakness on the US dollar. So for me, I just want to see some break of this low to finally take a sell. Simply, I'm very cautious on this pair, to be honest. Another thing that makes me very cautious on US yen is, I still talking about this even in my last weekly market outlook, is the Japanese yen basket. Japanese Japanese yen basket is at a very low point. You see, if I go to the monthly time frame, we can see we touch the all-time low. So at any moment, I keep saying that at any moment the of Japan could intervene. Remember, we have high inflation in Japan, so having a low currency is not ideal. So Bank of Japan could intervene at any moment. So right now we have a pump, one pump, a second pump. I will not be shocked if we see another third pump to the upside. So that's why I'm very cautious on pair like USD yen. The next one is USDCAD. So USDCAD, I could say I really appreciate this. I am bearish, as you know, if you follow my previous market outlook. As you know, I am long-term bearish on USDCAD. Why? Because this is a 12-month time frame. On 12-month time frame, this is a higher time frame. We see that the last order flow 12 month is bearish. We are retracing. We have retraced in premium zone, and what do we do in premium zone? We expect a sell-off in premium zone. So that's why I think at the end of the year we could potentially see USD targeting this low. You see, let's go down to the monthly. You see the last order flow monthly is from this low to this high. We have pretty much break this high. So currently we are seeing a retracement of the monthly order flow. If I measure with the Fibonacci tools, we will see that we have some merge before targeting the discount zone. You see, could potentially target this low. You see, maybe this low, but for the week, for this week, let's go to the weekly time frame. So on weekly time frame, you can clearly see we are bearish. So from this high to this low, this is my last order flow weekly bearish. So the trend is clearly bearish. If you follow my last weekly market outlook, I was talking about this imbalance. I want to see price at least target this imbalance before dropping higher. It seems like we already tapped with this week. We already tapped the zone. Let me show you to the daily time frame. You can clearly see if I measure my last daily order flow from this high to this low. You see price came to a premium zone before dropping lower. We We can also see the yearly open is acting also as a resistance. So I can clearly say that we have high probability to target this low. And plus the fact that the Canadian dollar is very, very correlated with the US oil, which we will see in a minute. But US oil is pumping higher due to the geopolitical tension in the Middle East. So for this week, for example, if I could see some retracement around this level, or even in toward the monthly open, I will I will show these markets. Still in forward time frame, you can see the last order flow is this from this high to this low currently. So as I say, want to see some retracement, maybe around this imbalance to take a short again, just to take advantage of the strength of Canadian dollar against the US dollar, be due to the geopolitical tension and the rise of US oil. Canadian is very strong right now, and I think we had some jobs data on Canadian dollar for in this week. You see unemployment chain and on unemployment rate, which could potentially had some strength if we see a good number on this one. So keep an eye on that. So I couldn't take a trade last week because this was very, very rangy. We have a lot of range. So US dollar was strong, the Canadian dollar was strong, so that's make this mess you can see right now. So but I pressured the trade. So if you follow my last analysis last week, I was talking about a retest of this point of control from the last one before a drop, or my best scenario was to at least came in this premium zone. I want to see price find another premium zone before dropping, and this is really what happened. So good fresh shot, but we need to focus on entry. The entry was very, very difficult for me. So that's it. On USDCHF, we you can see on monthly time frame we are bearish clearly. Um, on weekly, we observed last week some rejection of this imbalance. You can see we have some rejection right there. So for the upcoming week, I want to see on sell side price targeting this low. On buy side, maybe some rejection of this high before dropping lower again. On daily, we let me show you my markup. We had this last daily order flow from this high to this low. We retrace perfectly in premium zone. I wanted to at least price retrace at least on this supply zone right there, or this other block. You can clearly see the other block is right there. So we didn't retrace, but it's okay. Maybe price could potentially retest again this level before seeing another strong sell-off, or another scenario will be a continuation to target directly this low. So in any case, my bias is bearish on USDCHF. On forward time frame, still on USDCHF, we had some sort of 4-hour order flow, but it seems like we are having, yes, we are having a 1-hour order flow, bearish from this high to this low. So let's see if we keep seeing a strength on US dollar. There is a possibility that we have some rebounds around this demand, but if the US dollar is weak, we could potentially a continuation of this 1-hour order flow to the downside. So, but long term, I'm bearish. I want to see some continuation to the downside on USDCHF. The next one is the gold. So on gold, we are in weekly time frame. Last week we see we had some sell-off. It was not a huge sell-off. We have a sell-off of the market and some buyers inside again at the end of the last week. So it seems like it's a let's see on daily. On daily time frame, we had the last order for daily is from this low to this high. We retrace in discount zone and then another impulsion to the upside. We want to target the all-time high again. But what do we see on 4-hour? On 4-hour, we can clearly see this is my order for 4-hour from this low to this high. We have already retraced in discount zone around this demand zone. You see, right now price is ranging between this level, point of control from the last week and the point of control from the last month. To buy this market again, I want to see a reintegration close above the point of control from the last week, and then with the help of the weakness of the dollar, if we see some weakness of the dollar, because the great winner of the tension, the geopolitical tension right now last week was the US dollar, because in period of geopolitical tension, some investor put their money in safe haven, and gold can also be a safe haven. But you can clearly see last week we didn't see that. So we could conclude that the dollar was the winner. But to see another rise on gold, we want to see some weakness on US dollar, I think. So as long as the dollar is strong, for me, I don't want to be engaged on this, on buying gold again. So I want to see some weakness on US dollar to be able to starting to buy again, maybe targeting this high, or the weekly open, or the monthly open. If the dollar is still acting as a safe haven, I would not exclude a possibility that we drop again, maybe find another zone in a discount price before rising again. This is my last order flow for our. As long as we are not closing below this order flow, I'm still bullish on gold. So the same thing on silver. Silver, this is my last order flow 4 hour from this low to this high. We have already retraced in discount zone. Let me go to the weekly time frame. On weekly, on sell side, weekly time frame, we could target this low. On buy side, we could target the monthly open as a target. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hour, actually we are ranging right now, so nothing is happening right now. Let's go to the 1 hour. 1 hour, we still have this order block which is holding price right now. If we see maybe a close above this order block, then we could potentially see a rise again. If not, maybe price could target this low before rising again. That's pretty much what I see on silver. Okay. The next one is the crude oil. So on US oil, as you know, with the geopolitical tension, we have a huge surge on US oil to the upside. We seems like we are approaching. I don't think, maybe we could approach the $100. So that could means the barrel of oil could cost $100, and this is a critical zone, a critical price, because $100 for a barrel of oil is very dangerous for economy. I'm talking about the worldwide economy, because this could bring inflation, which is not good for economy. So we really want to see a de-escalation, or a resolution of this conflict right now. So if not, it seems like the inflation could could surge and could affect many countries around the world. So huge inflation is not good for economy. You need to know that. So if we had some kind of de-escalation, of some kind of resolution, there is a possibility that we see another huge sell-off or return around the $60, something like that. So very pay attention. So for those people who are in the trade, because I have not take a trade on crude oil with this tension, is very risky for me. So for those of you who are in trade, maybe put your stop to break even. Try to protect your trade, or take some partial, because the resolution could happen at any moment. We don't know when this war could continue, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. We don't know, but we really want to see some resolution of this conflict, because war is not good for economy worldwide. Okay, so I'm paying attention of in this imbalance, which is around the $100. So where we could potentially, maybe after taking this high, we could potentially see a reverse of price, a huge reserve, a huge reverse. But we need some de-escalation or resolution of the conflict to see that, to see the price of oil decrease. Okay, I have nothing else to say on crude oil. I'm staying away of this market for the moment, because this is a very geopolitical driven asset, so I don't want to be exposed of the high volatility of this instrument. The next one is natural gas. So natural gas is very interesting for me. You could already see, I already take some trade. This is very important on natural gas, because the conflict right now in the Middle East is affecting the commodities like energies, like you already see the oil, the production of oil, the demand on oil. I think we could also see a rise on natural gas soon. Why I say that? I say that because technically we're starting to see a nice signal on daily time frame. If we follow my analysis, we know that this is represents my last line of defense where I don't want to see price drop below this demand zone. In 4 hour, where we can observe some kind of pattern. For those of you who are familiar with pattern, you can see an head and shoulder forming, and the pattern say that when the price broke the neckline, this is where we can take the trade. But as you can see, I took my entry before the neckline was broken. But as long as the conflict is there, we have a huge possibility a huge probability that natural gas keep going, just like the US oil. So we have a lot of March, you can see. So that's why I put some entry on Friday night. I had some contract. That's why I had some contract, another contract on Friday night after seeing how the geopolitical tension is evolved. So I put my stop just below this demand zone. As I say, this is my last line of defense. If price decide to break this low, I get out of all my trade and take my loss. So we will see where the price will go on the opening. So that's it for the video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This will help me know that you appreciate my content. So thank you for watching. Having a nice week, trading week, and be careful on the market. It was Josue, the part-time trader. I'm out.